Well, hello there, wild and wonderful friends on the internet. Welcome to the show. This is Untethered Live on a Wednesday night, and I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and I'll be with you for the hour. How goes it? How are things in your neck of the woods? What's going on in your life? What do you got going on over there? What are you doing? Are you into some weird, kinky stuff? Are you telling me? Are you going to tell me about it? Probably not, huh? I don't blame you. I wouldn't tell me either. It's a nice day today. A little overcast, but no rain. Lovely. Got some news. Got the Rumble channel all up and popping. And got some things being worked on so that we can improve that. That's what we're working on. Rumble's a great little place, but it's not quite right yet. They're still working on some issues. But unlike YouTube, when I email Rumble support, they emailed me right back, like within the hour. That's pretty impressive. I got to speak to somebody about issues, and they promised to fix it. That's pretty good. That's better than you get on YouTube. I still have never spoken to anybody on YouTube, and I have a YouTube handler. Well, in theory, anyway. Hey, Kevin Cox, what's up, buddy? Lisa Reen, welcome to the show, everybody. Come on in. How are you doing this fine evening? Are you staying out of trouble, or are you trying to find some? I'm enjoying a nice hot cup of coffee, nice beverage, and a cigarette, as usual. Hi, Lisa Reen. Welcome to the show. I hope all is well where you're at. I was about to say in your neck of the woods, but then I remembered I just said that. That would be weird. So, there you go. It's a nice cup of coffee. I hadn't had one in 2 or 3 days, so it's about time. Had a good day today, worked all day. But it kind of flew by. It was one of those busy days where, you know, nothing lingers. It's just, it's 5 o'clock already. Okay, it's time to go home and go back to work. So here I is. I stayed up most of the night last night working on Rumble, getting everything situated and trying to clean it up and make it look presentable, and did a few live stream tests and one live stream from Rumble that I left up. I deleted the rest of them, but this one is pretty boring, but it is proof positive. It works. It's there. It's functional. And eventually, after they fix the issues that I'm having, one being the chat doesn't work. If I can't talk to you, there's no point in live streaming. You know, talking to you is kind of the point. So they got to fix that. And a couple other little things, you know, little tiny things that aren't really deal breakers, but they're just issues. Like you have to put in the stream key every time you go live. So you have to go get a stream key and then go into your settings and change things around and do that every single time. Well, according to them, they're working on having a universal stream key that I can use all the time, but they just hadn't got there yet. There's a lot of money being poured into Rumble, but they just hadn't got there yet. They're still in the developmental phase. But I downloaded the Rumble apps today and got that on my phone, and so it's coming together. Little bits here and there. Does that say crotcheting? Crotcheting? Lying down after 10 hours workday. Ah, lovely. Is that what crotcheting is? That's not what I picture when I say the word crotcheting. Oh, is that crocheting? Okay. My bad. I had other thoughts. Not important. So moving on. I don't know how to crochet. I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to know how, but if you can do it, that's lovely. You worked all day for 10 hours? Wow. I worked all day from the ass crack of noon up to about 5 o'clock. It was 11, but whatever. Kevin says, hey, Lisa. I put in about 14 hours a day, but between 2 or 3 different jobs. But neither one's a full day, but all together it adds up. You know what I mean? The old adage is 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, and 8 hours for the service of God. And if you can live that way, that's wonderful. But let me tell you what, it is a slog to make up that time for everything, you know, and keep up with it. Kevin says, we're at Beef O'Brady's. April is getting drunk on sweet tea. Well, that's not hard to do in Florida. A lot of sugar in that sweet tea. But if you're going to drink tea, that's the only way to do it. I know I've had it both ways, and the Yankees are wrong. They're just wrong. Unsweet tea sucks, and there's no reason to drink it. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. What say you, chat? How you feel about the sweet tea? I know it's a Southern thing. I'm Southern, so makes sense. Anyway, as I was saying, back to Rumble. It's looking good. If they can solve the few little issues that I have no problem moving Wednesdays and Fridays over to Rumble. One of the biggest things is the chat, though. It don't work. They got to fix that. They suggested it might be my browser, but I'm using a current browser, and Chrome is the browser that most social media recommend you use because of its handling of memory and such. But I'll try some other browsers and see if that works. I don't know. But they got to fix that problem. And 2, I would like for you to get a notification. I mean, if you bothered to go over and hit the follow button, you should get a notification when I go live or when a new video uploads. So that doesn't seem to be happening. I received a notification today about somebody else's video, so I know they have notifications. I'm just not sure why I'm not sending them out when I go live. Should be automatic. So they got those things that got to be fixed. None of those are deal breakers, you know. It's a new platform. They've got a lot of money. They're just now getting started. They're getting some big names over there. It ain't quite the solution to YouTube yet, but it's getting there. And I'm willing to put in the time and the effort to allow them the space to develop if they're willing to fix the problems that I bring up when I need them fixed. And we'll see how that works. And we might have a beautiful partnership building there. Might be better than YouTube. Don't know. I was allowed to say some things on my live stream last night on Rumble that you couldn't say here. I'd get striked and sent to YouTube jail and everything else immediately. So that was lovely. Caucasian Sasquatch, what's up, my buddy? Good to see you. My thermostat blew pulling into the O'Reilly's auto parts store. Well, if you got to have something blow up, that's the place you want to be when you blow up, at an auto parts store. So you can go in and get the part and come back out and fix it. You got tools? They got tools. Go borrow a 9/16 wrench and take that thermostat off. Besides, you're in Georgia. It doesn't even snow there. Why you got a thermostat in the first place? MVTV, good to see you, my buddy. Been a while. Did you say boobies again? No, but I will. Boobies. Nice. How's everybody doing? How's that new car running other than the thermostat problem? You don't even need a thermostat. Just take it out and throw it across the parking lot. Just, you know, you might have to replace your water pump at some point, but not today. Yep. I was after struts, but got the thermostat instead. Good man. Yeah. You know what I used to do in Florida? Now, you can't do this everywhere, but you can do it in Florida. Take the thermostat out and drill a hole right through the middle of it and then put it back in. And it'll never go bad again. But you don't need it in Florida because it don't get cold in Florida. Not that kind of cold. Not thermostat cold. That thermostat is to regulate the flow of water so it doesn't freeze. But, go figure. Thermostats are a hell of a lot easier to install. Yep. It's just a little round thing about that big with a little nipple on the tip of it, and you poke it down in the hole and put the little cap back on and put the little 3 bolts in it, and it's done. MVTV says Caucasian. Caucasian says MVTV. Such a lovely, polite crowd we have here. Bravo to you guys. Anyway, go check out Rumble. It's getting there. Won't be long. I'm thinking about using a different software for Rumble though, because I'm having to screw with settings and stuff to do live streams on Rumble, and I don't want to mess up what I got going on here. I worked hard on this setup, so I'm thinking about maybe using Wirecast or something for Rumble. We'll see. Nipple, he said nipple. I did say nipple. I didn't say boobies, but I said nipple. That's nice. Where is everybody tonight? They're coming in and going out. Or I don't even need to look at that number anymore. It's not right in the first place. Keep switching on me. I'm looking at more than 4 people. So I'm getting the struts and the shocks probably Monday. After that is the mystery of the ABS light. I'd leave it alone. I'd leave it alone. It's an old vehicle, right? They're bound to have lights on. That don't mean anything. If it's a Chevrolet, the engine light's on at 100,000 miles. There's nothing you can do to stop it. And it doesn't mean anything. It just means, hey, we're getting old here. I mean, you could go through and replace every sensor and every computer component and every plug-in that's in it, and that you might get the light to go off for a little while, but it'll come right back on. Freaking jungle here now. Tick Invasion 2. Count for season is 13. Wow. Is it already full of ticks? Summer hit hard where you're at. Got to fix the cruise control. It's the wheel sensor. That might be something you need to fix. The light I wouldn't worry about. If you can brake, if the brakes work, I wouldn't worry about that light. That's heavy. Had 13 ticks, is that what you're saying? Jesus. It's terrifying. I hate ticks. They freak me out. I'm a bit of a germaphobe, so, ticks, bugs of any kind, yeah, I don't like it. What kind of wheels are we talking about? New vehicle? What kind? Sweet, sweet El Camino. He wishes it was an El Camino. Although I don't know why. My dad was an El Camino man. He loved it. ATL Transparency, what's up, buddy? My dad salivated over El Caminos. Apparently that's the hot thing for him for that age. I never understood it because it ain't a truck. It's got a bed, but it ain't a truck. It ain't designed for pulling or, heavy lifting. It's just a car with a bed. It's a car with a big trunk and no lid. I don't get it, but hey, some people like El Caminos. I want a 69 Fifth Avenue. Now that sounds good. I want a Delta 88. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I can't find a Fifth Avenue any place. They're hard to find, increasingly. I didn't know they made them in 69. I thought a Fifth Avenue was an 80s model car, but I trust you. That's about 12 more than I usually see. And I grew up in the Midwest Only one got me, but not for long. I agree. It creeps me out. And lots of collateral damage from the flamethrower. Yes. A new Oldsmobile. Yes. Delta 88 Oldsmobile. That's what I want. Big Mexican car. You could fit a whole family in the backseat of that thing. And they could camp out on the hood. I love it. That's a car. I used to own one when I was in my 20s. I paid $50 for it. It had been sitting on blocks the whole time I lived in Florida, and I was there like 13 years. So it's always at this paint and body shop sitting on blocks. So one day I stopped by and asked him about it. I was like, what are you going to do with that old car? He goes, I don't know. You want it? And I said, yeah, I'll take it. I said, how much you want for it? He goes, give me $50. I said, you got it. And I took it. I put tires on it. It had no brake calipers, by the way, no brakes. Only brake that worked was the emergency brake. So I put tires on it. I put a battery in it. I put some fuel in it, and I fired that sucker up, and I drove it for about 4 years, just like that. That's a car. 79, not 69. Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. So you're talking about the square body with the brome, the brome back half of the roof. That's a nice car, Fifth Avenue. The hood you can land a Boeing on. Yes. Do you remember that white car I had, Caucasian, that I sold to the NASCAR guy? We went to Atlanta in it one time. I just figured you probably remembered it. It was a Chrysler Newport, and it was about 22 feet long and about 14 feet wide, and it had power steering, all the power you could put into it. Yeah. But that sucker was mean, boy. Their grill looked like a mouth, had teeth. And when I cranked it up, it would go blah, 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 blah. It had a Holly 4-barrel and a Magnum 440 in it. Yeah, buddy. I sold that car to a NASCAR driver. I don't know which one. He's a famous one, but I don't know which one. Probably Jimmy Johnson or so. Whoever lives in Georgia, he bought it. I don't know what he did with the motor, but I'm sure he didn't keep the car. MVTV says, a 77 old Cutlass Supreme, light blue. I had one of those. That, or give me back my 72 Chevelle SS. Ah, the days. Now, Chevelle SS is a nice damn car. Nice car. I had a Cutlass Supreme, and I had, what else was it? Oh, the Impala, same model, same size. So I had a Chevy Impala and a Cutlass Supreme, but none of them beats that Oldsmobile. And to this day, I don't understand why they stopped making Oldsmobile. That was the best car on the market. How did Oldsmobile get going away with? Does anybody know the answer to that? That makes no sense to me. I would have rather Dodge go away than Oldsmobile. And I like Dodges, but I like Oldsmobiles better. It's the big square metal box. I know. I'm 6 foot tall and could almost lay in the back seat. I think and you talking about that white car? I think you could lay down in the back seat. A big car. And it had like bench seats, went all the way across in the front and the back. And it was leather interior, what they call tuck and fold. Kind of has this groove look to it. Very nice. It was a 60s model. I don't remember what year it was. But it was from the 60s. Or early 70s. Might have been a 70, but I doubt it. I think it was a 69 or something like that. 69 SS. Lean burn machine and the Iron Duke. Uh-oh. Sports Dog Update with Kevin Cox. We have a dog jumping competition going on. Sasquatch does not qualify as the transgender dog. Gray Kangaroo is in the first. Impala is in second. There is not a dog named ... Squatch. Back to you, Half Squatch. Half Squatch. That's a reference from the movie Tropic Thunder. I shall call him Half Squatch. You good? Well, I ain't but 5'2", 5'9", but yeah, I could lay down in the back seat, no problem. Kev, I do what I want, says a Caucasian. No, a dog named Jake or April. Gotcha. You don't need a dog named Jake. You got one on the YouTubes. ATL says, you are not going to find a 69 SS without spinning a nut. Oh, I know. It's about like a Charger. When I was a kid, you could see Chargers all day long sitting on blocks. No problem. $200. They throwing them away. Now, if you find one on blocks, that's 80 grand. One that don't run, missing half of the car, no motor. 80 grand. People went nuts over that Charger. It is the sexiest car ever created, but I don't think it's worth 80 grand. I have a 69 SS, says Caucasian. Well, why ain't you driving it? ATL says, you got numbers matching? Cause... Absolutely not. It's an SS clone. Fuck you, ATL. Well, I feel about that about the same way I feel about fake breasts. If you can squeeze them, they're real. Period. April, what's up, sweetheart? Sorry you're late. You were eating. That's okay. But you're here now. That's what matters. Lisa Reen, did you ever come back? I hadn't seen you say nothing in a while. Much love, says April. Much love back to you, sweetheart. I was cool for a second. I was just wondering why, if you had a 69 SS, you weren't driving that bitch everywhere. That's what I'd be doing. I tell you, I knew two people with the 69 SS. Both had replaced motors. Well, having a car that's original these days is increasingly hard to do because they were products of their time and they did wear out. Most of those cars came out of the junkyard the second time. You know, they were already ridden to pieces and then junked and then bought and then refurbished and then put back out on the road. So here we are 30 years later, 40 years later, still doing that. Because, and this is the truth of the matter, they just don't make shit like they used to. And the old stuff was cool. It just is. You take a 69 Strat, a guitar, it plays and sounds and feels better than anything on the market today. It also costs as much as a house, but that's the price you pay for greatness, I guess. It's made out of wood that you can't get anymore because it's old wood. They used up the first stuff, the stuff that grew from the flood. They've used it all up now. Now everything that's made is made out of new growth wood, replanted trees. So you can't get, it'll be another 150 years, another 200 years before you can get that quality again. And that's if we know how to do it when we get there. I just found an honest wrench monkey. I'm going to put his kids through Harvard. Wow. That's quite the statement there, Caucasian. MVTV says, I graduated in 77 and would be a rich man if I had only a few of the muscle cars in the parking lot. Yeah, I think about that quite a lot because I was around quite a few things when I was a kid that I had no idea would be so valuable today. And I could have got it then for nothing had I only known. 50 years untethered. 50. Okay, calm down. I wasn't doing the math. I was just talking. Talking 50. We're all old. We get it. I do have a 396. It's drag built. Cool. I have a Harley Davidson. It's barely built. Hey, I'm 63 and feel, or think I do, the same as after high school. Like looking up at the calendar and saying, WTF? Nah, gotta get away from these numbers. Yeah, I don't feel like I did when I was in high school. I wish I did. I buried my uncle today. JW passed away. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Caucasian. And God bless you and his family. $3.96. Just feed it nitro and go over the canyon. April is having connection issues. However, she's here for you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry to hear it, says ATL. Me too. That sucks. I sure as hell don't look the same, but as long as we're on the planet, condolences, Caucasian. Yeah, as long as we're here still. I said it earlier this week, and I'll say it again. When I was a young man, in my teens and probably early 20s, bad as I hate to admit it, I could fall out of the top of a pine tree and shake that shit off and be all right, whatever. Today, pushing 50, if I sneeze wrong, I might be out for 3 or 4 days. That might do it. That might just do me in. So things have changed, and not for the better. Getting old ain't for sissies, as they say. What's funny, most folks didn't recognize me, but Amanda, who hasn't seen me since we were 13, knew me instantly. Well, you do have that squatchy look. I'll give you one better than that. When I was in Georgia, when I lived there, about the last week I was there, I went to Walmart for something. And I was sitting there perusing, I guess I was looking at T-shirts or whatever. I can't remember what I was looking at. Anyway, from behind me, this little old lady said, "Jake, is that you?" From behind. And I turned around, and it was Mrs. Hayward, my kindergarten teacher, who I haven't seen since kindergarten. And she knew who I was. And I didn't live there either. So, we left when I was about 7 years old. So I went to kindergarten in Georgia. But I wasn't there for 20 years after that, 15 years after that. How that woman knew who I was still amazes me. But she remembered me from kindergarten and knew me from behind. She must have seen me in the store earlier and I didn't know it. Because that's wild. But if that woman's still alive, kudos to her memory. You know who I'm talking about, don't you, Mrs. Hayward? I think you probably know who that is. You probably went to school with her for 10 years. I don't know. I don't know what school you went to. It was Dee Dee Crawford when I went there. God knows what it's called now. We used to go to malls, spot an elderly lady, and then yell, "Grandma," from about 50 yards away. Get some interesting responses with that. That sounds fun, actually. A little creepy, but fun. If you add throwing an egg to the end of that, it'd be real fun and real creepy. "Grandma, huh?" You son of a bitch. That'd be funny. FTR. I never actually did that, but had a nutcase friend who pulled it all the time. Not really cool. No, I was just teasing too. By the way, I'm not cruel to the elderly. I just thought it was kind of funny, that visual. She was my teacher too. That's what I thought. So was her daughter. Wow. Let's see, I didn't go to school beyond kindergarten there, so I didn't know she even had a daughter. But yeah, I figured she probably taught everybody in that area, you know, because it's a small world when we lived there. So, but she definitely knew who I was. She knew me by name, so it was really weird because I didn't recognize her at all until she said her name, and I remembered the name. Once he asked me for a ride late at night. I drove him out into some cornfield. WTF? He gets out, goes to an old barn, and torches it. Not cool. My car, innocent barn. Yeah, that's rough. That guy had some motives. Had her first grade, her daughter third grade, and her granddaughter senior year. Really? A whole line of teachers there, huh? I can't remember if I went to first grade there or not. I don't think I did. I think kindergarten was it. Maybe first grade. I remember riding the bus a few times. I don't have a lot of memory of it, but I definitely remember being on it. So I might have got to first grade. I don't know. MVTV says, will always recall sitting in the dark wondering, what the hell? Then the glow of the flames against the glasses, and seeing his shadow against the flames throwing cans of gasoline. That guy needed to be whipped and taken to jail. It's probably somebody's hard work there he just burnt down. It definitely is. But who knows the reason? That sounds like some personal issues. What do you think? That guy might have owed him some money or something. Exactly. Not cool. No, not cool at all. Don't destroy other people's hard work. Wondering why I'm leaning way back to take a drink. It's because my wrist is hurt. I can't bend it. Don't know what I did to it. It just decided to start hurting. And it's been that way for about a week. I can put all the pressure I want to that way, but I can't put any that way. I have no strength pulling. I can push, but I can't pull. So it's a tendon thing, I think. But I've been ace bandaged up all week. And seems to be getting a little better. Who knows? Later, he went on to billboard rage. Talked me up on a 50-foot catwalk to blow up this giant coin on a bank billboard. The explosion blew U.S. off. Amazed we lived, much less able to run off. The coin survived. Oh, it blew us off, not U.S. off. I got it. You got blown off of a billboard? Yeah, I don't know how you survived that either. That's a pretty significant drop. Unless it's one of them low ones up on a hill. Like them ones in South Carolina that says, south of the border, next exit. They now are doing dog relay races, says Kevin. Not kidding. The dogs are either on meth or coke. This is awesome. From Orlando. Well, it's Orlando, so yeah, I would say so. Strange days indeed, says MVTV. Swear to God. Also across from Bendix Company that did military work and almost got caught by MPs again. Odd days. That is odd. I don't doubt you. I'm just thinking the last billboard I saw was about 50 feet up in the air with a little catwalk. I couldn't imagine falling off of that. But I don't doubt you did it. I trust you. Dog relay races. That's what the world's coming to. Nothing else on TV is entertaining. Let's watch these dogs freak out and run in circles. You want to make it interesting? Give them a shot of something powerful just before they take off. Squirrel. Poor dogs. They just don't get people. I was one of the giant ones. Lots of brush below. I can't believe half the stuff we got into for the dumbest or completely unknown reasons, too. Just 'cause we were kids. Yeah, I did some stupid things when I was a kid, too. You don't corner the market on that one. I understand. Dumb things. Things that I would never let my kids do. I got one for you. Check out M's Mad World. I will. I meant it was. Yeah, 50 feet at least. If it was one of them high ones, I can't imagine falling off of that. I'm surprised you didn't break something. You got really lucky. I've seen lower to the ground billboards, but most of them are up on a pretty high pole or a couple of high poles. I guess it depends on where they're at. M's Mad World. I've heard of that before. That sounds familiar to me. But I can't remember what it is. But it's rattling around in there somewhere. MVTV says, my brother got fired from this steakhouse. He and Buddy broke in to show them up by making themselves a big steak dinner at 3 a.m. The cops drove by and noticed the lights and two dudes through the big windows. Didn't get away with that, did they? I'd have took the steak and ran, cooked it at home. Now I want steak. Thanks for that. I think all I got in the refrigerator is some pulled pork that I haven't eaten yet. Might make me a sandwich after this. But I'll be thinking about steak while I'm eating it. Hey, whoa. It's already flying by. It's 9:10 already. You believe that? Feels like I just got here. Already half gone. You guys are fantastic conversationalists. I'm enjoying it immensely. Figured I'd let y'all talk tonight. I talk too much. Going to see ATL next week. That'll be fun. ATL the guy or ATL the place? Or ATL the movie? All three of those are options. I got away with a lot, says MBTV. Why, I'm humble. But always just an accessory, and usually no clue what was going on. I, unfortunately, was the mastermind behind most of what I did. Not very intelligent mastermind. April says, I'm back. Sorry for the delay. Well, that's all right. I didn't get delayed at all. Both. ATL, just outside ATL. Well, while you're there, watch the movie and you'll have a hat trick. Hard to beat that. Win the lottery or something. That would be a Squatch-tail. Squatch-a-tail. A Squatch-a-tall. A Squatch-a-tall? ATL says, hello. Hello. Go rent the movie ATL, and when Caucasian comes to see you in ATL, you'll have a hat trick. Then you can go play the lottery or something. I walked away for a minute. A Squatch tale is where I tell stories. Gotcha. Why, thank you, says April. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, go fix me a peanut butter and bacon sandwich. ATL stands for Atlanta, right? Yes. Yes, it do. Why they did that, I don't know, because it's easier to say Atlanta than it is ATL. Kind of like WWW. There's more syllables in WWW than there is in World Wide Web. I'm just saying. Somebody wasn't thinking. It must have been them people. You know who I'm talking about. Those people. The ones that name stuff. What do you think, Caucasian? Think I'm onto something? I think I'm onto something. Squatch tails. Woo! Do not smell. Good. Apparently not. They're great cartoons, though. My daughter calls me, you people. What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? Like the airport codes, too, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time in airports, so I don't know if that's a thing. But you're probably right. Did you expect they would, Kevin? So you're more than one person then, says ATL. Could be. Me personally, yes, I'm more than one person. It's kind of a professional thing. But I don't know who you're talking about there. You know the graph in the 80s where they were describing the average nuclear family, and it came out to something like 2.5 children in the nuclear family. Mom, dad, plus 2.5 children. That's me. I was the guy that made it to 0.5. They're like, what? You kind of get lost in the crowd with those huge live streams with like 9 people on the panel at once. Caucasian, at least from one I dipped into recently. Do what? Says April. Exactly. I'm pretty good at keeping up with it, but I do get lost occasionally. But that's a good problem to have. That's not a problem I'm complaining about. More, please. I'll take more of that. April says, I'm listening, I promise. .5 is 0.5 more than one person. My mom had my sister, and then she had me, and I'm more than one person. 2.5. If a man transgenders to a woman, is it okay if he wears edible panties? Yeah. It's okay if you wear edible panties if you don't transgender to a woman. Do you, boo. Whatever floats your boat, whatever tickles your fancy, whatever blows your skirt up. You know what I'm saying? MBD says, in other useless news, I finally broke down and started watching Breaking Bad. Been binge city for the last 2 days. Well, you're doing a good thing. That's a great show. I think you'll really enjoy it all the way to the end, and the climax will probably leave you wanting. But in terms of storytelling, one of the best shows there is. Jot, welcome to the show. Hadn't seen you in a while. Good to see you. How you doing? We're just talking about wearing edible panties. You came in at just the right time. April says, hello, Ajot. Beautiful. Good to see you. It is good to see you. Hadn't seen you in so long. You don't write. You don't call. LOL, Jake. MBDV says, for some reason, the whole meth thing turned me off. But I heard so much, and Bryan Cranston is damn good. Hell, everyone in that so far. Super storytelling and acting. Yeah, well, for reasons I won't go into on the podcast, the whole meth thing is what drew me to the show. And so, it was a good watch. But I understand what you're saying. But you have to look past that, because that's the MacGuffin, but it ain't what the show's about. You know what I mean? It's about more than that. Ajot says, I'm going to pretend everything is good. Well, that doesn't sound very good. Well, I hope everything is good. I hope you're doing well. If there's anything you need, let us know. Kevin says, okay, Sasquatch, that answers your question. Did I miss a question? I don't think I did. I did not. If you have a question, just ask. I'll tell you. I'm an open book. I have no secrets. I learned a long time ago that if I wanted to be happy, I wouldn't keep anything private. Those are the things that weigh you down, make you feel bad. I don't like feeling bad. So, sorry, my cousin is messaging me. I am not. MBTV says, no judgment. I recognized years ago meth and or cocaine would be the #1 best medical superpower for me. But about 2 days until I exploded, got netted, shot, or all three. The price is just too high, no pun. No, you're right. Meth is a wonderful thing until you realize the cost. And it's usually when you're neck deep in it when you realize what the cost is. And it's a rough road to hoe after that. So, needless to say, I had to leave a state to get away from it. And I recuperated in a barn to where I saw apparitions of a young blonde Nordic fellow in Michael Jackson clothing appear and disappear from my view for a few days until I realized I was talking to somebody I knew. And when I slowly came back to myself, he nursed me out of it. And I don't even know if he knows he did it. But he did. Got me up walking. Made me walk everywhere for a while. I got my health back. And I stayed that way. I hadn't eaten in so long, I'd forgotten what food was. And I was pretty much asleep all the time because I was crashing hard over about a 5-year bender of high proportions. I owned and operated a lawn business in Florida, of all places. So needless to say, I was very busy. I made a lot of money. And I had none of it. It all went up the nose. All of it. Everything I could sell on top of that. You haven't eaten? We're talking about something that happened years and years ago. I have eaten. Try to keep up. Talking about my meth days. Or lack thereof at that point. At this point, don't think there's help for me, but thank you. Well, that's not true. There's always help. There's always prayer. And there's always the unexpected. MVTV says, I would write 3 American classic novels, marry 2 women, build an internet fortune, and then head to Washington, D.C., and would be grabbed long before I hit the Mississippi. Yeah. Well, all I managed to do was tear up a bunch of VCRs, so, you know. And cut a lot of grass. Caucasian says, hey, Jot. MPTV says, and do all that in a weekend. Nope. Want a private link, Ajot? Caucasian is talking to you there. Always help, love. I agree. There's always help. MVTV says, hey, Jot, yo, not a cowboy hat I'm not wearing because I just can't pull it off. They call that tipping the hat. Yeah, see, if you tipped it, you might be able to pull it off. Kevin says, hey, Ajot. See, a bunch of people love you. Hi there, Kevin Cox. Fantastic. Anyway, Caucasian, were you aware of the blonde-haired Nordic-looking fellow wearing the Michael Jackson clothing? Red leather, I believe it was. Seeing the weary guy on the mattress in a loft barn in the heat of the day, not knowing where he is. Do you remember anything like that? Saved my life, you did. It's a nod here, boy. Wow, what's it? It is a tip. I sit corrected. And, ow, watch the head. I just fed a hobo. Yeah. That hobo was me. He would bring me little pieces of deer meat and feed it to me, little bits at a time, because I don't know if he knew it or not, but I clearly could not eat food, you know. I was in rough shape. Put it this way, I have no memory of going there. I just was there in Georgia. It's another state over. And there I was, laying in a barn on a mattress on the floor in a dusty old barn in the loft. Had been there for days. Wasn't quite sure where I was. There's Lisa Reen. She did pop back in. Most people don't come back from the meth haze. You are blessed. I always hated the chemicals. My blessings. Or one of them. Yep. Yeah, I was lucky enough to recognize that I had gotten in too deep, too far, too fast, and I needed to do something. And so I did. And that was the only one and only time in my life I had that problem. But it was a rough one. I probably shouldn't be telling you all this, being the guy doing the pastoring on the weekends, but again, I ask you, would you rather some white, pasty, pencil-neck nerd to tell you right from wrong, somebody that's never seen sunlight, or would you rather a guy that's been rode hard and put up wet and knows when to tell you that something's wrong is wrong because I've lived it? You tell me. I prefer the latter. Hot barn loft, eh? Sounds like a story. Barn lofts can get hot, especially in the South. Oh, yeah, they can. And it did. I vaguely remember sweating bullets laying there, staring at the tin roof above me, the dust floating in the air. And it was summertime, and it was quite an interesting journey there. But my guardian angel came along and fed me little bits of deer meat and got me up walking around, and I came out of that hole and never went back. This bitch woke up with me reading The Mists of Avalon. Yep, I remember that too. I don't remember what book it was, but I'll trust you. He would come, I would wake up and he'd be sitting there. I thought he was an angel because I didn't know who it was. You know, I hadn't seen him in years. I have Sirius XM radio in the rental car. Woohoo! It's free Elvis radio till June 4th. Yay! Hey, that sounds fun. Uh-huh. Kevin says, I'm getting dessert. Peanut M&Ms and a whatchamacallit bar. Oh, yeah. Sounds good. I made plenty of other mistakes, says Lizarine. I hear you. Me too. Lots of them. LOL at Kevin. Yes, dear. I'm going to the store now. Ha ha ha. Caucasian says, the pig downstairs wasn't comfortable either. I know. Bacon. That was the name of that pig. Lisa says Caucasian. April says, hi, Lisa-Reen. Good to see you. Kevin says, April would leave me for Elvis, Kenny Short-Ass Chesney, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Elvis is dead. Chesney is too short, and SpongeBob is not real. No worries here. I'd worry if I were you. April says, shut up, Kevin. Ooh, you gonna let her talk to you like that? I'm just saying, man. Pull out your man guard. I wouldn't let her talk to me like that. Pop you one good one. Right across the lips. She'll pull a knife. I know. Don't ever make that mistake. She's got the redhead in her. Lots of it. Overload. Geez, just had one of those wild cottontail hop up to the open door and get a treat. Safely lured away. Well, that's a good way to get your dinner. Train them to come right up to the front door and just whack them in the head with a rolling pin. You got dinner. Makes hunting easy. I'm now getting messages from folks who just realized after seeing me today that I am the Odin guy, says Caucasian. Yep. It's that filthy beard. Does it every time. One of the pair I fed during the winter. Now there's about 30,000 of them out there, despite the cats. Wow. April says, see, Jake knows me. Right on, Jake. I know you. But you know I'll flip a table over at you too, don't you? Pull a knife on me. But he's my friend. Well, you can be your friend. But my cat's outside. Every one of them knows they'll make a good sandwich if it gets hard around here. Every one of them knows it. No, Lucy, that's our friend. Don't. Oh. Got to make it real. Cats only eat a rabbit every 2 to 3 days. My cats, they eat anything, and I do mean anything. I'll see them eat bugs and frogs, and then they right there eating cat food. If I throw bread outside, they'll eat that. There's been a couple times I didn't have any cat food, so I just opened a can of vegetables and dropped them out there. They eat that too. They don't care. Food's food. Hard out here for a pimp, is what I'm saying. Speaking of which, I'm going to play this little video real quick, and I got to go take care of some business. So, will you do me a favor and watch this, and I'll be right back. Hey, press all the buttons and do all the things and go to CashApp or PayPal. And also, ask questions. Feel better now. Believe me, says MVTV, it's been pretty ugly at times. These big two are aware of them and just too fast. Not so with about 5 other ambushed so far. Wow. Caucasian says, Lisa, redheads are my only weakness. I hear you. Me too. Kevin Cox says, I bought April a gun for Christmas. Oh, Jesus. You better hope you ain't got a smart mouth. That's all I can tell you, son. Might be seeing the business end of that thing. Caucasian says, all I know, I have a wife, a girlfriend, and a car note, and they are all late. That sounds like a country song, my friend. That Caucasian says MBTV. I suppose if they were wild ones feeding, this is one big free-range pray-for-play amusement park for them. Add a lot of voles, mice, and etc. Sound like you got a busy yard. I have none of those, but I got 11 cats. So, crazy cat dude. But no mice, and no roaches, and no other things that creep and crawl. They eat it all. True statement, says April. LOL. But did you buy her the bullets as well, says MVTV? Hope not. Hope he's smarter than that. Funny, right? April says, yes, he got me bullets. You keep that thing put away, honey. Don't let your anger get the better of you. Blow a hole in your boyfriend there. I've already had to deal with that problem once or twice. Yeah. April, do you remember a guy named Bobby Norton that used to come around quite often? Mechanic. He used to hang out with my dad. That man showed up at my house at 4 o'clock in the morning with a bullet hole in him, and I had to take the bullet out when I was about 14 years old. 15, somewhere around there. It was an interesting night. Caucasian says, I bet you could do a dubstep wildlife stream. Caucasian, talking to MBTV. Probably. And turkeys, snakes, turtles, badgers, porcupines, pheasants, and at least that's what I've seen so far. April says, I promise I'll be good, LOL. Bobby, oh yeah, OMG. Yeah. Apparently, him and his wife got in a fight, and he went to beat the hell out of her, and she pulled out a gun and shot him. He came over to get me to fix him up. I guess I was the only guy he knew that could, stomach it. I didn't know that crazy man, but you knew who he was, though. I know you didn't know him, but he was there. Oh, I didn't know that's crazy man. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was crazy. It was a very interesting night. I learned a lot about the anatomy that night. MVTV says, I swear this ring neck and I have a routine now. He stands outside the front door, squawks, watches me put out the treats, and then walks right over and digs in. You got him trained. That's good. Took me a while to get my cats trained. I can now touch almost all of them but two. Two of them still won't let me touch them. Caucasian says, I pulled birdshot out of Pee-wee's back. Yeah, but he probably did that to himself. Jeez, that's wild, says April. It was a Tuesday. Yeah, I knew who he was. Wow. I never asked why he was peppered. I know why. I got rock salt in the ass one time, but it was because I was in somebody's field and I shouldn't have been there. But I did learn one thing. When struck with rock salt, the thing to not do is go home and jump in a hot tub and hope it melts out, because it don't. And it burns. I did learn that. The guy obviously wasn't trying to hurt me. He was just trying to shoo me off of his yard, off of his cow pasture. But he got me good with a couple right in the ass. I still got the scars. And a dead spot on my ass. I can feel a little spot that has no feeling. Or he's got me trained, says MPTV. That's possible. He will stand 20 yards away watching as I go by in a roaring lawn tractor. Just amazing for a wild game bird, but one with a year of getting used to the monkey. Well, you can train an animal to do just about anything. It's not that bad, April. It's like being shot with BBs, which I have some experience with, too. Because me and the neighbor, Sonny, used to have BB gun fights all the time. Then we graduated to pellets and then to blow darts, where we'd cut that blow dart down. Yeah, blow darts about that long, like ninjas. We'd cut them down to like the size of thumbtacks and shoot each other with them. LOL, I got dusted with rock salt. Was a little out of range for the shot. I don't know what kind of range, but I know it sunk in. It got in there. Kevin says, yeah, I bought her bullets, and this weekend I will show her how to shoot. She might surprise you. Do you have an extra 10x8s of yourself, Jake? 8x10s? I could probably rustle up some. Why, you want one? For target practice? April says, everybody hit that like button, subscribe, share, much love. Thank you, sweetheart. I got the preacher's daughter drunk. Well, you deserved it then. Messing with the preacher's daughter. April says, yeah, I love the blow darts. Yeah, I loved them too until I got hit with a few of them. They ain't so fun when you're pulling them out. Going to bed. Good night, all. Good night, Kevin. Thanks for hanging with us, buddy. April says, LOL, Caucasian. MVTV says, all the guns ever aimed at me were loaded with real rounds. Most was 9 cops at once. Another odd day. Misunderstanding in Phoenix. I've only had one gun pointed at me directly other than the rock salt incident. Like a person pointing a gun at me. That didn't end well. The preacher was pretty good shot. He peppered me at about 40 yards. April says, I'm getting your candy, Kevin. Hold your pants on. He'll be asleep time you get there. He's already going to bed. Well, the one thing I know for certain is that this generation coming up don't know anything about rambunctious. My generation was rambunctious. We did crazy shit. Caucasian says, I was surrounded by military police and escorted off base at multiple rifle point. ATL says, I got it on with a preacher's daughter. April says, LOL P5. Not sure what that means. MVTV says, they sort of got the idea I was shooting people from my car and did an 8-car takedown, just like in the movies. Screeching trap at a residential intersection, all piled out with guns. Wow. April says, probably. ATL says her name was Jill, and we went up the hill, and she came back with 50 cents. You think we went up for water? Now, let me rephrase that. End of a thought process. ATL and Jill went up the hill. Each one had a quarter. Jill came down with 50 cents. You think they went up for water? She was one of 8 kids. She needed a lot of attention. Those are the best kind. That's a keeper right there. Caucasian says, I was delivering windows and the threat level increased, so the base happened to lock down and I got caught inside. But that's what you do. MVTV says, in the end, the judge said, hell, I'd have shot him. Case dismissed. Bailiff, give this man his gun back. I had a BB gun only. And I brandished it some dudes who threw rocks at my car. Well, I have slightly more than a BB gun. I am armed to the teeth like a real red-blooded American from Georgia, the old Georgia, before they changed the flag. So, you know, don't come around here and knock it. But kudos to not brandishing that firearm, because that's when you get in trouble. If you're going to pull it, you better use it. That's all I'm saying. Military bases do not have to follow any law, says ATL. That's interesting. I did not know that. Well, apparently nobody does, because I've seen the law do some things that they shouldn't have got away with, but they get away with it. Apparently they can do whatever the hell they want to do. Hey, Dana. I have a little tiny pepper spray. LOL. Hey, that works. Nice to see you, Dana. Welcome to the show. Caucasian says, I was smoking a cigarette, and a very sharp individual appeared next to me, and then, poof, there were 20 guys surrounding me. He probably should have put that cigarette out. Well, I've never been surrounded by anybody, I don't think. Unless you count drunk rednecks. That's happened a time or two. MVDV says, I was driving cab during 9/11. Took a guy to Fort Harrison base. Turned out to be a colonel in the civvy clothes. But the security scared the hell out of me. Full armor, weapons, taking no chances. They got to be careful. They don't know what kind of riffraff is pulling up. I giggled and started clapping and said, you boys are very good. Caucasian. That sounds like a Caucasian thing to do. ATL says, good night, all. Good night, ATL. Thank you for hanging with us, buddy. Appreciate you. Come back. See us. MVDV says, I did my usual and put my hands up and started sobbing. Started man-sobbing. Usually works. I've only had to pull that trick once. ATL, safe travels, says MVTV. Yep, it was Christmas Eve. I just left a show and was headed home to put presents under the tree. And I got pulled over, and they were being mean. And they had me handcuffed and in the back seat of the car, and I had to pull that man-sobbing trick. It got me out of it, though. I went home that night. Didn't go to jail. That's a good thing. But usually I don't play that game. Usually I'm way too angry to man-sob. They just hit me all at once on that particular night. But I might not get to see my babies in the morning, and I wasn't happy about it. But they understood that they were being excessive, and they let me go. Caucasian says, I was on an army base inside the inside perimeter. And when it went yellow, my movement permitted was denied. Yeah, your movement permit was denied. Yep, that'll happen. Dana says, I don't understand the violence among people. I guess people become too desensitized. No empathy, sympathy, mercy. It's very sad. I agree, Dana. Violence is a thing that we are built to do. For whatever reason, mankind has a violent gene, and we just exude it. And it seems to be the only thing I can think of. But most of the time, my violence, personally, is in defense of myself or my family. I don't get violent for any other reason. I talk a lot of trash, but the truth is, the only time I get fighting mad is when somebody's, threatening my family or my friends or something like that. But there are people out there that just thrive on hurting other people or taking what's not theirs. And greed has a lot to do with that. And evil has a lot to do with that. And you're right. They have no empathy. They're desensitized to the pain they cause other people. And they have no mercy. Mercy is a big thing. That's why we teach the Word of God on this channel, to try and drive some of that into people's hearts. I hope it works. Caucasian says, so they booted me with the 3 Humvee escort off base. Well, it's a good thing they didn't throw you in the brig. MVTV says, another good technique is projectile vomiting. Projectile being the key word here. Also helps if you can keep it up. I've never used that one before. Radicalized through Hollywood agenda-based products is a huge part. Well, that's the modern thing, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of that, unfortunately. And it is not new. It's been going on for a long time. As long as there has been media, there have been propagandists. All the way back to radio days. That's what that movie Good Morning Vietnam was all about. And people fall for it every time. It's like they don't learn from the past. MVTV says, true, Dana. Good people grieve at the pain they cause others, which haunts me with a clear view. It was not my fault. MPs are not known for their sense of humor, says MVTV. April says, hello, Dana, welcome. Caucasian says, they were nice enough. He was very clear, and I immediately complied because I was absolutely convinced they would all shoot me at the same time. They would. That's what they're trained to do. Dana says, April Rain, MVTV, Montana Vigilante TV. Hello. Or heart. That's a heart with a droplet. Nothing funny at all, says Caucasian. I hear you. Yeah, if there's 12 or 13 guys surrounding me with firearms and they're pointed in my general vicinity, I'm doing whatever they tell me to do. With a yes, sir. Immediately, sir. I'll get revenge later. Right now, staying alive. The difference is, between me and most other people is, I've got a memory like a steel trap, and I don't forget anything, ever. Ever. So, 20 years from now, when you forgot all about it, I'll be on your house with a baseball bat when you walk out to check the mail. That'll be the last mail you check. But his smile when I applauded them. I think it's the only reason I was escorted. Joey was held for 12 hours. Wow. I don't know who Joey is, but that sucks. This is a heart with an exclamation mark. Okay. It looks like a heart droplet, but I like it. Heart with an exclamation mark. It's cool. The other delivery guy. Oh, I got you. MBTV says, noted. Likely did get you out versus Joey. Probably. Sense of humor goes a long way, especially if things are tense. Lets them know you're not a threat. Or you're incredibly insane. One or the other. But mostly not a threat. I don't have that issue because I have resting bitch face for men. I look like a threat even if I'm happy. I've had people tell me, you should smile more. And I'd say, I am smiling. When I grew up, says MVTV, it was all about knowing yourself. You did something wrong. If you did something wrong, knowing yourself. You did something wrong and how that ate away at your character. Now folks are proud at what they can get away with. I know. Yeah. That's because they weren't taught morals. We have look, after the war, and I'm talking about the big one, WW2, the kids of that product saw their parents and all that they had to go through, and they swore they were never going to be those people. So when they grew up, they had kids, and those are the baby boomers. And those people went mental because they had a world with nothing to fight, no cause, no strife. Everything was good. America was popping, free love and drugs and all that stuff, the hippie movement. Well, their kids got the Nerf treatment because they finally said, we're not going to be like the rest of the people in the world. We're going to raise our kids to be whatever they want to be, do whatever they want to do. They'll have everything. This right here is the product of that. What you see happening in the world today is what happens when you don't let your kids experience trauma. When you nerf the world and make everything safe and everybody gets a trophy and everybody is equally happy. Boys and girls are exactly the same. There's no difference. This is what you get. You deserve it. Because you knew better. April says, so pathetic. But that's what happened. We went through a period of trauma, and then the recoil of that caused their kids to nerf the world, and nerfing the world is the worst thing you can do to children. You need to let them eat a little dirt. You need to let them get their ass beat a couple times. You need to let the world happen around them so that they can learn and inoculate themselves to the things that go on in this world. If not, you get a 25-year-old entitled idiot with a man bun that can't understand why you won't give him what he wants when he wants it, damn it. And why he can't wear his earbuds at work. and why tattoos on the face ain't a good idea. Caucasian says, I don't know. Joey was delivering to the chapel. I was delivering to the new base housing units. Okay. MVTV says, I was forced to read Crime and Punishment by Fedor Dostoevsky in college. Sure, you've heard of it. I've heard of Dostoevsky. It was all about that, but what an absurd story it turned out to be. Damn schlag, as I expected. Yeah, well, not every writer that's famous was a great writer, even though they claim to be. Some of them are schlaggy, like Nietzsche. I never understood the fascination with Nietzsche. Or Jung. It's not my bag. Dana says, yes, though tough times build character. It's a character builder. Makes people strong. Weak times raise up a lot of sissies who lack a critical thinking skill. Amen, sister. And that's exactly what's happened. We don't have anything to fight for. We're not at war. Not a real one. I mean, we got a bunch of little things going on, but not real war. And there are no causes, so they had to invent some stuff. And now we got Black Lives Matter and all the other stuff going on. That's all that is. And like the hippie movement, they'll grow out of it. And when they do, they'll realize the error of their ways and become Republicans and be good citizens. Simple as that. Caucasian Sasquatch says, thing is, I was waiting for an individual to sign something, and this very brisk gentleman literally materialized out of thin air, whispering in my ear. Some people call that a hookup. That may be what he thought was going on. What did he whisper in your ear? Did you bring the jumper cables, boy? The motor oil. Who's your daddy? Excuse. Fedor Dostoevsky, the correct spelling. Horror. What about Mel or Eddie? What a pretty baby. Let's call him Fedor. That's Fedor. Jeez. Why are you on my base? That's what he whispered in your ear. You sure it wasn't? Why are you on my base? You put a comma anywhere, buddy. Maybe you misunderstood the drill is all I'm saying. I'm just amazed that I actually understood who you were talking about, MVTV, Dostoevsky, because it didn't say that. I was trying to help you out there. Why is your mama waiting in my car? Damn, that's rough. Well, all right, folks. We made it to the hour. It's 10 o'clock. Any last words? There's a couple of Russian authors that I've read that I can't pronounce their names. That's rattling around in my head, but I'm scared to say it because I'll probably say it wrong. But I know who those people are. I am aware of their studies and their ideas, and some of them are creepy. Some of them write about gulags. Some of them write about people. You want to get freaked out? Read some of Sigmund Freud's writing. You'll end up thinking you want to sleep with your mom. If you buy into the fact that he's a brilliant psychoanalyst or whatever. I don't. I always thought he was a nutcase with a cocaine problem, but That's just me. Anyway, there's more than one way to skin a cat besides ugling him to death. That was a Winslow Johnson statement, if ever there was one. God bless his people and ours. I love you all. Have a great night, says April. Dana, thanks for coming by. April, be careful with that gun. MVTV, feed the pheasants. Caucasians, stay away from military folks with whispery tendencies. And the rest of you, have a great night. Thank you so much for keeping the chat popping. I enjoyed every minute of it. I love the conversation. I love all the stuff we went through. And maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. Who knows? I did. So that's a good thing. Good night, everybody. Safe travels, MVTV. Thanks for coming by. Miss you. See you Friday. Have a great night. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. God bless you, and thanks for watching.